happened, what really happened to hip hop. Please like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your host, Sean Myrie, right? So, I talked about this a couple times, right? In regards to the culture, uh, hip hop. Hip hop is still around, live and well because it's the culture. But the music aspect is not commercially big anymore, right? So you're only hearing about a couple or a few artists. It's not like the good old days. The last of that was in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? So what happened to hip hop, it lost a lot of commercial appeal. That's why more singing came in. That's why the auto tune came in. Hip hop lost um, celebrating the DJs, celebrating the art, celebrating the dancers, celebrating all types of stuff. Now, what is it? It's rap. That's it. It's just rap and pop. If you want to look for hip hop, it's not going to be somebody. I mean, when it comes to the music, right, genre, it's not going to be somebody who is promoted online. You're not going to see them at all, right? So, what happened to hip hop? You got to look for it in regards to the music aspect. The culture is still there, but a lot of people that just been introduced to, I guess, the art form, they're looking through a different lens. So, yes, for example, a lot of people like Drake. Nothing's wrong with that, but Drake's not hip hop. Drake, he raps, but he's not hip hop. A lot of artists are rappers, but they're not hip hop. They might like the culture, doesn't mean that they're hip hop, right? Because if I ask a lot of a certain age range about certain artists, they don't know who they are. They don't know even just say a certain event, what happened. They don't know nothing about it. Now, when I was like a 16, 17, I would go back to the foundation to know about who started it, right? I had respect for the culture and other aspects of it, but now they don't give a shit. They don't care. A lot of the youth, and not all of them, but a lot of them, they don't care. So what really happened to hip hop is it lost the commercial appeal. The youth are looking for it to be commercialized, right? The last of it was like DMX, Eminem, from that class. That's the last of it, right? The late 90s, early 2000s, that's the last of real hip hop being commercialized. And 50. When 50 came out, he brought that gangster stuff and that was commercialized. That's why I'm giving you an example. That was promoted, right? It was everywhere. But now there's a tons of artists coming out with videos and music, and it doesn't do nothing. It doesn't hit, and that's why they've been saying hip hop, the numbers been going down for the recent times. They've been saying hip hop's not as popular like it once was because you can't count 10 people who are doing hip hop that's popular. You can't count 10 people on your hands that's doing hip hop that's popular. And that's facts. Unless, and I'm talking recently. I'm talking new people, new artists. You can't count 10 fresh artists out of the last 5 years that's doing a traditional hip hop and is commercial. The only one people could point to is J. Cole. That's it. And Kendrick. So you got Kendrick, you got J. Cole. That's it. I mean, commercially big to people, you only got two people, right? Back in the day, and not too far, well, now it is. You had Eminem, you had DMX, you had Fabulous, you had Nas, you have, like I said, Jay Z, Tupac. You had the list keeps going. Mob Deep. You had groups Outkast. You look. I could keep going. Look at how much people I'm saying. All those people were pushed commercially, right? And it keeps going. You could count probably over 100 artists were pushed commercially, right? We used to have R&B, what was big too, R&B with the hip hop. Now R&B is dead. You don't even know about an R&B group at all. You don't even know about anyone who's doing R&B, right? And a lot of the so-called rappers now, which they mix it up with hip hop, right? People get confused. They're singing their own hooks, so they don't need the R&B artists anymore. And now AI is even bigger than ever. So what's happening to all music, but especially hip hop, the commercial appeal is gone. That happened to rock and roll. Rock and roll was commercially big, right? The 80s and the early 90s was the last of rock and roll being commercially big, and now it's more like you say underground. It's not commercially pushed. You can't tell me somebody who's in that genre that's known right now, like really known from the rock genre. You can't even tell me five of them. They're not popular. That's what's happening to hip hop. That's what's happening to hip hop or been happening to hip hop. There's only a few, a small few you could spotlight out there and say, "Yo, that's hip hop." And they're commercially out there and they're making money, right? Drawing a crowd, having big shows. Who's out there like that? Who's out there? You have to go to the old school people, the people from the early 90s, if not the 80s, who still have an audience, but they're not commercially big. So that's what's going on. A lot of the people who were commercially big, they're still doing good, but the new classes, right? They're losing. They're completely losing. There's no big class like you can't count 10 people who's doing hip hop that's commercially pushed. That people are actually they're anticipating their album. You can't count it. There's nobody that you could count right now and anticipate their album. It's not happening. It's just not happening, right? Well, listen to your rap. Rap is rap. Hip hop I listen to. There's a difference. Rap is what you do. Hip hop is the culture and it's a genre. So anybody could be doing rap. There's all types of rap. Christian rap, right? There's rock rap. There's kitty rap, uh, gospel rap. But hip hop is different. Rap and hip hop is completely different. Don't get it mixed up. Don't get it mixed up. Rap and hip hop is completely different. If you don't know, do your research. So that's why the sales for hip hop or rap, even that, has gone down. So it's gone down. Drill came out, and drill's not doing good anymore commercially. Who's commercially doing big for the so-called hip hop? It's Kendrick Lamar. Who else is there? Tell me who else is there? J. Cole. We only can name the same people over and over again. You can't say anybody else. And even if they are whatever, they're not that old. Their records ain't doing good, right? Wale could come out now, it's not gonna do big numbers. Rick Ross could come out right now, it's not gonna do big numbers, right? It'll just flop. And let's talk hip hop. Nas came out with DJ Premier. I don't hear no one talking about that. No big numbers from that. There's a whole bunch of so-called real hip hop that came out. They're not doing big numbers because they're not commercially viable. They're not. It's nothing what they're promoting. They're not promoting it. Music videos. I can't tell you the. I can't. There's no video I could point out where you're saying that's a good track and that's a good video. So that's why the sales is going down. That's why the interest in other genres is getting attention like Afro beats. That's why K-pop is getting big or is big. That's why Jay-Z's investing a whole bunch of money in K-pop, because if you want to call it rap or whatever, it's not doing too good. Nothing is doing good in regards to the hip hop genre, just the culture. And the culture means more than just the music. So if you're even doing rap, that's not even doing too good either, right? That's not even doing too good neither. I don't know what you mean. So that's facts. I don't control the music industry. I don't control it. I don't control the music industry. It's what people want to tap into. And right now, people ain't even tap. It's people ain't tapping in too much to rap or what, if you want to call it, hip hop. The new class, the younger people. A lot of people fell on it through Drake, right? Drake's popular, respect to Drake, but when you ask someone who's about maybe 16 to 28, they're gonna say they discovered the music through Drake, and Drake is a pop artist. Drake does rap, but Drake's not hip hop, right? So when you ask them about the culture, they will not know about a lot of things. Before, when people knew about shit, right, they would be supporting the artists. They would be supporting the artists. So it's interesting. You see something. Ah, you see the power of the internet? Now, where are you? Deleted. That's the first time I done that. Talk right, and then you could talk. You could be on here with your opinions. But what happened to what really happened to hip hop is lack of people being creative, the lack of support, right? When it comes to the music, that's what happened. No one is really investing as much. No one, there's no big record deals coming to people who's doing the so-called real hip hop, right? That's what's going on. What's your name again? Let me see what your name is. Yeah, can't say nothing now. I love the dummy comments when people come on here, try to say something. hmm Let's see. What do I do now? For 80 minutes. Ah, you like that? So the culture is around. Hip hop culture is around, live and well, but the music is not commercially getting promoted. Bless up, I think from Japan, much respect. It's not getting commercially promoted, the music. Sad, but true. It's not getting commercially promoted. The ones who are coming from America. Maybe other places they're promoting hip hop overseas, other places. But when it's America, they're not promoting a certain type of music anymore in regards to hip hop. Now you got to rap. They're promoting the rap though. Actually, I'm from Romania. Oh, bless up from Romania. From people in the comments, and bless you too. Yeah, there's people who love to troll. I see that as I go live, but now I know what to do. I just put you on the timeout, a timeout for like a half an hour or block. I love doing that. I love blocking people, the idiots, and I put you out on the timeout for half an hour, easily to be done. So come with the right comments. Yes, what really happened to hip hop is the commercial appeal is gone. The commercial appeal is gone. What a lot of hip hop enthusiasts been fighting for, like, oh, you can't be a sellout. You're not hip hop if you're sellout, if you're promoting certain things, right? But guess what? You need that now because a lot of you are not getting endorsements, you're not getting sponsors, right? Like I said, the only guy you could point out who's doing hip hop commercially is Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. Yes, I do it to the toxic people. That's I just had to put someone in timeout if you see them earlier. Not you though. If you see them earlier, they like to come in. It's funny to me though. It's funny to me, right? But yeah, that's the real deal. What's going on? That's reality. So what really happened to hip hop is the hip hop culture's around and it's not being supported by the what do you say, the industry as much. It's not getting supported by the industry. But rap is. You like rap? No, I like hip hop. I think there's still a big confusion with rap and hip hop. I like hip hop and hip hop that hip hop artists that could rap good, right? There's something what they had called gangster rap before that had to deal with like gang culture, right? There's gangster rap and there's gospel rap and all that. I like hip hop, the culture. Rap is something what you do, but it's not. They try to make it like it's a genre. Like the weekend's good. The weekend's good if you're talking about the weekend. The weekend's very good, very talented, one of the most talented artists in the world, right? But yeah, rap is something what you do. Hip hop is the culture. I like positive rap, rap with people with bars, intelligent rap. That's what I like. That's what I listen to, tune into in regards to hip hop. It has to be with bars, right? Intelligent. But right now they haven't been promoting that. They haven't been promoting that type of rap for a while, right? No, I'm not Muslim, but respect all the Muslims. Are you? Respect all the Muslims. I'm not Muslims. Like there's a lot of Muslims who rap too. Remember that too. They rap. There's a lot of cultures that have their own type of rap. So it depends how you do it. In another comment section. Yeah, respect. I don't know which one you saw me in, but respect to that, right? Respect to that. But yeah, the culture of hip hop is not commercially promoted, and now a lot of the artists ain't making no money if you're gonna try to do that so-called traditional hip hop. You're not gonna make any money from that. So that's why a lot of these rappers are doing content. I mean, hip hop artists who rap, they're doing content now. That's why you got Jim Jones, you got um, Fabulous, you got Cameron, you got what's his name, Nori, a whole bunch of them doing content, right? You got a whole bunch of them doing content right now, rappers. They're moving from, I mean, hip hop artists. I gotta correct that. Who rap? They're moving from hip hop to do hip hop content, meaning podcasts, shows, movies, and stuff like that. They're really going into that bag because that pays them. But like I said, Redman came out with an album. No one cares. A whole bunch of hip hop artists have came out with albums. It's not commercially pushed. Ghostface came out with an album. No one really has been talking about that. Nas and Premier came out with an album. No one's really talking about that. But if you have a Playboy Cartier come out with an album, that's going to be promoted a lot. If you have one of the Migos come out with an album, right? That's going to be promoted a lot. So that's what's going on. They rap. Those guys rap. They talk about a lot of, popular stuff. But if you are like talking about certain stuff what's not popular and you're trying to educate, that ain't gonna go anywhere, man. They're not really pushing that. They want the ratchet stuff, the stuff that plays in the club. what the ladies are moving to, and what's playing on, like, some type of program, television I mean, on social media. That's what's going on, right? But anyways, that's what really happened to hip hop. It lost its commercial appeal, right? Kind of like R&B has lost its commercial appeal. What Trump do? Well, if you want to know what Trump will do, tune in to some of the episodes I done recently and tonight, right? The story's always changing with that guy. But yeah, I'm off of this. Thanks for tuning in. The Down to Earth Network later on tonight. Tune in.